passion and education. It's like you want to go on this journey, on this trip. So you need the fuel. You need to know where you want to go. You need to have a destination point.
I'm Michael. I'm based in Cochin in India. For the past 10, 12 years, I was based out of Bangalore, which is pretty much the music capital of India. All the cool stuff happens there. In fact, that's where I started getting into music as a career. But I teach a lot. Teaching has always been accompanying career on the side along with the band, I've been playing the guitar since I was 9, like you said. So I'm 34 this year, so I've been playing for 25 years. That's actually a big proud thing I've achieved so far. I would say I'm 25 years of playing guitar and still a long way to go because never happy with how far I've come.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm actually I echo with Michael on a lot of things. I think our journeys are quite different yet very similar. So I am a pianist. I studied in Belgium. I'm currently living in Dubai, and I actually started the piano around 10, 11. My parents actually bought a house and there was a piano in the house. So we're like, oh, well, they'll all learn piano. So that was quite good. We bought the piano with the house. And what actually inspired me to become a pianist and to follow this passion was actually volunteering in the Philippines when I was around 17, 18, just volunteering in a home for street children. And they had a piano there. So I taught there very briefly, but then I was just like, it was in those kind of periods also where I thought if I don't pursue this, I will regret it. And it's always been also a life balance between performing myself, working on my own skills, and also sharing that. I think with Michael it's the same, it's that balance, that passion also I have for teaching and music. And I think one nourishes the other. I love what you were saying, Michael, like we've been practicing your skill for a quarter of a century. And I don't know if it's for you, like I graduated and like, oh, I have a master's degree. And I thought when I started studying, when I have a master's degree, I'll be at this level. I'll finally have made it. And I arrived there on my graduation. I'm like, crap, I still feel like a total beginner. I was like, it never ends, So I think that's just for me. I think that's something
it never ends. The side of the music industry that I would be most familiar with is the indie industry in India. Now, when it comes to that, the first important thing you need to understand is it's all very DIY. And right from making your music, putting it together, working it out with the band, recording it, mixing, mastering, putting it out there, promoting, marketing, it's hell. There's a whole lot of things you got to figure out to do the whole thing on your own.
Well, when I graduated, it was like, oh, there's a music industry that I still have to studying. It's all about the skill. And I think that's the one thing, like you practice your art, you practice your skill. And for me as a classical pianist, we didn't have a course on, how to produce yourself, how to promote yourself, that whole aspect. So I think my realization when I dove into it was like, all that industry and that business aspect, and all the other skills as well. Like you were talking about, like music production, filming, recording bands. Classical pianist, I don't do that much, but I had to learn as well. Just all those aspects. And I think just there is, as a musician, you have that responsibility for yourself because no one's going to come up as well and give it to you. And it's one thing also you need to develop that entrepreneurial mindset to look for the opportunities. Whether it's also as a teacher, it depends. I think also, the independent artist kind of mentality for me too. You're mostly on your own as a musician, I think. But I think the key to really succeeding and also working is collaborating with the people also that have those skills and that can also support you. I think also you practice on your own, you write, you create on your own, but you never succeed. It's never just a one person thing. So it's finding the right people.
It's always up and down. It comes and goes. But I find it very interesting to there are different ways to reconnect with music that drives you even further. Like there are times when I feel like, oh my god, what is this stuff I've written? It sounds like shit to me. Like anything I've made is just rubbish. I don't want to play it anymore. And then I find ways to just dig into some artists that I really like listening to and just spend time only learning stuff for myself. And that inspires me. And there is another side of it where it comes to teaching, where I have to teach people stuff, and that is also quite inspiring. Like it takes you back to a lot of the basics you've learned, and it helps reinforce the basics in yourself. So teaching has always been a great fun part of inspiring myself. And yeah, altogether, like you find ways to come back to it. Like after a point, I come back to a song I'd written previously. I go through it and I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't that bad, it's okay.
So I think for me, exploring different things and finding joy as well in writing music, choosing the music that I want to play, and supporting also. I think I got more into the creative part, whereas in classical music it's more like you're performing works of many dead people. But then I realized that the classical scene and that composers today are still alive, and what really brought meaning for me was also supporting other creators and music writers, also a few female composers as well, and slowly dipping back into writing my own music as well.
As a musician, your main only interest should be about developing your skill and constantly keep developing it.
I agree with Michael in that sense. It's a passion driven thing. So the most important thing is that you keep that passion for music alive. If you know how to be, if you're a successful entrepreneur and you know how to produce music, make successes, but you're not fulfilled, then what's the point? You want to go on this journey, on this trip. So you need the fuel, you need to know where you want to go. You need to have a destination point. And I think after passion and dedication is what's going to drive you. But the problem is you need to know, like you need to have a functioning car. So I think that's like your skills that you need to keep working on. You do need to have the knowledge of the mechanics, like something goes wrong, like how does it work? What are the different, like either different pit stops and stuff. And then, yeah, that whole business aspect. I mean, like I said, you can't eat your passion. So I think connecting with the people that will support you, if you don't know anything about mechanics on a car, you have that drive. Okay, but then you need someone that can help you out. You don't have to all do it yourself, but you need someone. Yeah. Or you need people.